The art of lasting happiness. Tibetan wisdom for a peaceful mind. What if the secret to true happiness lies not in material success or fleeting pleasures, but in compassion, mindfulness, and inner peace? Discover how ancient Tibetan teachings can transform your life and guide you to lasting happiness, no matter what challenges you face. In today's fast-paced world, many of us struggle to find genuine happiness. We chase external success and avoid discomfort. Yet true happiness often feels out of reach. The art of lasting happiness draws from the profound wisdom of Tibetan Buddhism, offering timeless insights to help you cultivate compassion, embrace suffering, and foster a deep sense of inner peace. By transforming your mindset and nurturing intimate connections, you can achieve the happiness you deserve and make it last. Focus points. Understanding happiness. Explore why happiness is a universal goal and how it's rooted in compassion, self-awareness, and mindfulness. Nurturing compassion and empathy. Learn how showing compassion towards others and practicing empathy can enhance your relationships and overall well-being. Accepting suffering as part of life. Discover how embracing suffering leads to resilience, personal growth, and a more profound sense of peace. Managing anxiety and negative emotions. Uncover techniques for overcoming anxiety and other emotional obstacles, allowing you to live a more joyful and fulfilled life. Transforming your mindset. Learn actionable strategies to shift your thinking, cultivate patience and tolerance, and build a foundation for lasting happiness. Learning outcomes. Gain a deeper understanding of the link between compassion and happiness. Develop practical tools to manage anxiety and negative emotions. Embrace suffering as a pathway to personal and spiritual growth. Foster closer, more meaningful relationships through empathy and openness. Learn how to create a long-lasting, peaceful, and fulfilling mindset. This audiobook will offer you the wisdom and tools to cultivate inner peace, compassion, and resilience, empowering you to lead a truly happy and fulfilling life. Focus point 1. Understanding happiness. A universal pursuit rooted in compassion, self-awareness, and mindfulness. Happiness is a concept that transcends cultures, beliefs, and backgrounds, representing a fundamental human aspiration. Regardless of nationality, faith, or personal circumstances, every individual seeks happiness. However, the path to achieving it often varies, with some associating it with material wealth, others with relationships or personal achievements. Yet, the teachings of Tibetan Buddhism offer a more sustainable, profound understanding. Happiness is intrinsically tied to compassion, self-awareness, and mindfulness. The nature of happiness, beyond external factors. Tibetan Buddhist philosophy posits that happiness is an internal state that is not solely dependent on external circumstances. While external factors like wealth or status can contribute to temporary happiness, they do not create lasting satisfaction. Studies support this view. Research by psychologists like Sonia Lyabomirsky suggests that only 10% of our happiness is influenced by external circumstances, while 40% depends on intentional activities and internal states like gratitude and mindfulness. This indicates that a significant portion of happiness is within our control, shaped by how we manage our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Compassion, the foundation of happiness. One of the core principles of Tibetan Buddhism is the belief that happiness is deeply rooted in compassion. The Dalai Lama has often expressed that if you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. Compassion goes beyond mere kindness. It involves a deep empathy and concern for the well-being of others. Through compassion, we create meaningful connections that reduce loneliness and foster a sense of belonging. Studies from neuroscientist Tanya Singer show that compassionate individuals activate brain regions linked to reward and pleasure, enhancing their sense of well-being. Therefore, practicing compassion not only benefits others but also enhances our own happiness. A compelling case of compassion fostering happiness is seen in the field of social work. Social workers, despite engaging in emotionally taxing roles, often report higher levels of life satisfaction. This paradox can be explained by their strong focus on helping others, which brings them intrinsic rewards. The satisfaction derived from reducing suffering in others exemplifies how compassion directly feeds into one's own happiness. Self-awareness, understanding and regulating the self. Self-awareness is another essential component of lasting happiness. Being aware of one's emotions, thoughts, and behavioral patterns allows for greater self-regulation, a critical factor in maintaining happiness. The concept of emotional intelligence, popularized by psychologist Daniel Goleman, emphasizes that individuals with high self-awareness can manage their emotions better, leading to more fulfilling and less reactive lives. In the context of happiness, self-awareness allows people to recognize the habits, thoughts, and actions that either contribute to or detract from their well-being. Take, for example, someone stuck in a repetitive cycle of negative thinking. Without self-awareness, this individual might continually react to challenges with frustration or anxiety, which diminishes their happiness. However, a self-aware person can recognize these patterns and interrupt them, choosing more positive, constructive responses. This active self-regulation leads to greater emotional resilience and, subsequently, more sustained happiness. Mindfulness, the practice of being present. Mindfulness, the practice of being fully present in the moment without judgment, is a cornerstone of happiness in both Buddhist teachings and modern psychology. Jon Kabat-Zinn, a pioneer in integrating mindfulness into Western healthcare, defines it as paying attention in a particular way, on purpose in the present moment and non-judgmentally. Research has consistently shown that mindfulness practices, such as meditation, can significantly reduce stress and increase happiness. A study published in the journal Social Cognitive and Affective Neuroscience demonstrated that mindfulness meditation leads to increased activity in brain areas associated with happiness and emotional regulation. Mindfulness allows individuals to appreciate life as it happens, rather than getting lost in regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. For instance, consider a person who experiences constant anxiety about work performance. Through mindfulness, they can focus on the present task without worrying about the outcome, leading to more focused and fulfilling work. Over time, this shift from future-oriented worry to present-moment engagement can significantly enhance happiness. Concluding thoughts and recommendations. Happiness, while a universal goal, is not merely the result of achieving external success or avoiding discomfort. Instead, it is cultivated through compassion, self-awareness, and mindfulness. Compassion fosters deeper connections with others, enhancing both personal and collective well-being. Self-awareness empowers individuals to understand and regulate their emotions, creating a more resilient and positive mindset. Mindfulness anchors us in the present, reducing stress and increasing our appreciation for life's simple joys. To integrate these principles into daily life, practice compassion. Engage in acts of kindness, not just for others' benefit, but to enhance your own happiness. Start small by showing understanding and empathy in everyday interactions. Cultivate self-awareness. Reflect on your thoughts and actions regularly. Journaling or mindfulness meditation can help you identify patterns that either contribute to or hinder your happiness. Incorporate mindfulness. Dedicate time each day to mindfulness practices, whether through meditation, deep breathing, or simply focusing on the present moment without judgment. By focusing on these internal elements, we can achieve not only fleeting happiness, but also a deeper, more lasting sense of contentment. Focus point 2. Nurturing compassion and empathy, enhancing relationships and well-being. Compassion and empathy are foundational qualities that not only improve our relationships with others, but also significantly enhance our own well-being. While they may seem like altruistic emotions directed outward, their impact on the individual practicing them is profound. Compassion refers to the desire to alleviate another person's suffering, while empathy involves understanding and sharing the feelings of others. When these two qualities are nurtured, they transform how we relate to others, making interactions more meaningful and creating a sense of connectedness that fosters emotional health. The science behind compassion and empathy. Empathy and compassion are not just abstract qualities, but have been extensively studied in psychology and neuroscience. Research has shown that both are linked to improved mental health, increased resilience, and stronger social connections. A study by Emma Sapala at Stanford University demonstrated that individuals who practice compassion regularly experience lower levels of stress and are better able to cope with difficult emotions. This is because compassion triggers the release of oxytocin, often called the love hormone, which reduces anxiety and promotes feelings of trust and connection. Empathy, too, has been shown to have similar effects. According to neuroscientist Dr. Christian Kaisers, when we empathize with others, brain regions associated with reward and pleasure are activated, reinforcing our ability to form strong bonds. This neurobiological response underscores the intrinsic link between empathy, compassion, and personal well-being. Compassion and empathy in practice. Building stronger relationships. One of the most striking examples of the power of compassion and empathy can be seen in healthcare settings. Physicians and nurses who practice compassionate care not only improve patient outcomes, but also report higher levels of job satisfaction themselves. In a study published in the Journal of General Internal Medicine, researchers found that when healthcare providers show empathy toward their patients, it leads to better adherence to medical advice, quicker recovery times, and greater patient satisfaction. Simultaneously, healthcare workers who display compassion are less likely to experience burnout and emotional exhaustion. This dynamic is not limited to professional relationships. In personal life, empathy fosters deeper, more fulfilling relationships. Consider the case of parenting. Parents who show empathy toward their children, acknowledging their feelings and providing compassionate support, tend to raise emotionally healthier children. These children often develop higher self-esteem and stronger social skills. Parenting expert Dr. Daniel Siegel refers to this process as attunement, where a parent empathetically connects with their child's emotions, promoting secure attachment and a greater sense of emotional stability. Empathy in the workplace also enhances collaboration and teamwork. Studies from Harvard Business School indicate that leaders who show empathy toward their employees create more cohesive teams and inspire greater loyalty. Employees in such environments feel understood and valued, leading to increased productivity and job satisfaction. This shows that empathy, far from being a soft skill, is a critical component of effective leadership and organizational success. The well-being benefits of compassion and empathy. Beyond improving relationships, nurturing compassion and empathy directly impacts our own well-being. Compassion, by reducing focus on the self and redirecting attention toward others, helps to alleviate negative emotions such as stress, anxiety, and loneliness. By practicing empathy, we engage in a process that creates emotional bonds and fulfills our inherent need for social connection. A particularly illuminating example comes from the experience of volunteering. Many studies have found that people who volunteer regularly, driven by compassion for others, report higher levels of life satisfaction and lower rates of depression. The United Health Group's 2013 Health and Volunteering Study revealed that 76% of participants who volunteered felt physically healthier, and 94% reported that volunteering improved their mood. This is a clear indication that acts of compassion can have tangible effects on our mental and emotional health. Compassionate acts do not have to be grand gestures. Simple daily acts, such as listening empathetically to a friend or offering help to a colleague, can have profound effects. These small yet significant actions enhance our sense of purpose and connectedness, ultimately contributing to a happier, more fulfilled life. Compassion and empathy, timeless wisdom. As philosopher and psychologist William James once said, "The deepest principle in human nature is the craving to be appreciated." This statement underscores the importance of empathy in human interactions. When we show genuine empathy, we fulfill the deep emotional needs of others to be heard, understood, and valued. Compassion, similarly, was lauded by Mahatma Gandhi, who stated, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." This encapsulates the idea that through compassionate actions, we not only improve the lives of others, but also discover a deeper sense of fulfillment and meaning in our own lives. Recommendations for nurturing compassion and empathy. To cultivate compassion and empathy, it is essential to integrate practices that promote these qualities into daily life. Active listening. Listening without judgment and with the intention of truly understanding the other person's perspective is a powerful way to practice empathy. This deep listening enhances emotional bonds and demonstrates genuine care. Volunteer regularly. Engaging in volunteer work provides an opportunity to practice compassion in real-life situations, which not only benefits others but also significantly improves your own well-being. Mindfulness practices. Incorporating mindfulness meditation can help develop empathy by enhancing self-awareness and emotional regulation, allowing you to connect more deeply with others' emotions without becoming overwhelmed. Self-compassion. Show yourself the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a friend. By practicing self-compassion, you become better equipped to extend empathy and compassion to others without experiencing burnout. By actively fostering these qualities, we not only improve our relationships, but also create a more compassionate and empathetic society, one that supports the well-being of all its members. Focus point 3. Accepting suffering as part of life. The path to resilience, growth, and inner peace. Suffering in one form or another is an inevitable part of life, whether it comes from personal loss, emotional hardship, or physical pain. No one is exempt from experiencing difficult times. While many strive to avoid suffering, embracing it can lead to a more profound sense of resilience, personal growth, and inner peace. By accepting suffering as a natural part of the human experience, individuals open themselves to transformation, finding meaning in adversity and discovering their inner strength. The role of suffering in personal growth. Suffering, paradoxically, often acts as a catalyst for personal development. Research in psychology supports the idea that people can experience significant growth following traumatic events, a phenomenon known as post-traumatic growth. According to Dr. Richard Tedeschi, a leading psychologist in this field, many people report positive psychological changes after enduring adversity, including increased personal strength, a deeper appreciation for life, and improved relationships. This growth is not the result of the suffering itself, but the individual's ability to make meaning out of the experience. Consider the example of Viktor Frankl, an Austrian neurologist and Holocaust survivor, who wrote about his experiences in Nazi concentration camps in his seminal work, Man's Search for Meaning. Frankl argued that suffering is unavoidable, but what truly matters is how one responds to it. He noted that individuals who could find purpose in their suffering were more likely to survive the horrors of camps. This belief formed the foundation of his existential philosophy, known as logotherapy, which emphasizes finding meaning even in life's most difficult moments. By accepting suffering, we engage in a process of learning that leads to greater resilience. Instead of resisting or denying pain, acknowledging it as part of life allows individuals to develop coping mechanisms and emotional fortitude, empowering them to face future challenges with greater confidence. Suffering as a path to resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, and one of the key factors in building resilience is learning to accept suffering. Psychologist Dr. Martin Seligman, known for his work in positive psychology, has emphasized the importance of a growth mindset in overcoming hardship. Those who view suffering as an opportunity to grow are more likely to exhibit resilience. By accepting pain rather than avoiding it, people develop psychological flexibility, the ability to adapt and find strength even in the face of setbacks. One striking case study on resilience involves Malala Yousafzai, the Pakistani activist who survived a brutal attack by the Taliban. Despite the physical and emotional trauma she endured, Malala transformed her suffering into a global campaign for girls' education. Her resilience, born from an acceptance of her situation, inspired millions worldwide and helped her become the youngest ever Nobel Peace Prize laureate. Malala's story exemplifies how accepting suffering, rather than allowing it to defeat her, fueled her personal growth and strengthened her resolve to fight for a cause she believed in. Finding inner peace through acceptance. Inner peace often arises when individuals stop fighting against the inevitable and instead learn to live harmoniously with life's difficulties. This idea is central to many spiritual traditions. In Buddhism, for instance, suffering is considered an intrinsic part of existence, referred to as dukkha. However, rather than viewing suffering as purely negative, Buddhists believe that acknowledging and accepting it is the first step toward enlightenment. The famous Four Noble Truths teach that by recognizing suffering as part of life and understanding its causes, one can ultimately transcend it, achieving a state of inner peace and liberation. Modern psychology echoes this wisdom. Acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, developed by psychologist Stephen C. Hayes, is a therapeutic approach that encourages individuals to accept their painful thoughts and emotions rather than suppress or avoid them. ACT practitioners believe that by accepting suffering and committing to actions that align with one's values, people can live more fulfilling lives. Research shows that this approach is particularly effective in treating anxiety, depression, and chronic pain, as it fosters psychological flexibility and reduces emotional distress. A poignant real-life example of finding peace through acceptance can be seen in the story of Christopher Reeve, the actor best known for his role as Superman, who became paralyzed after a horse-riding accident. Instead of succumbing to despair, Reeve eventually came to accept his new reality, focusing on advocating for spinal cord injury research and supporting others with disabilities. His acceptance led to a renewed sense of purpose and peace, illustrating that while suffering is inevitable, how we respond to it can shape our future. Suffering as a teacher. Timeless wisdom. Philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche once famously remarked, "That which does not kill us makes us stronger." His words encapsulate the notion that suffering, while painful, can lead to growth and strength if embraced. Similarly, Rumi, the 13th century Persian poet, observed, "The wound is the place where the light enters you," suggesting that through our deepest pain, we gain the wisdom and insight needed to transcend it. These perspectives align with the belief that suffering is not to be feared or avoided, but understood as a crucial part of the human experience that ultimately leads to personal evolution. Recommendations for embracing suffering. To develop resilience, personal growth, and inner peace through the acceptance of suffering, consider the following approaches. Practice mindfulness. By engaging in mindfulness meditation, individuals can learn to observe their suffering without judgment, cultivating acceptance of pain rather than resistance. This practice fosters emotional resilience and a greater sense of peace. Reframe your perspective. Instead of viewing suffering as purely negative, adopt a mindset that looks for the lessons and opportunities for growth within adversity. This shift in perspective can help transform pain into a source of strength. Seek support. Sharing suffering with trusted friends, family, or a therapist can provide emotional relief and offer new insights into the experience. Connection with others often helps lighten the emotional burden. Set meaningful goals. Focusing on a purpose or cause that is greater than oneself can provide a sense of direction and meaning, even during periods of suffering. This can help individuals maintain a sense of hope and motivation. By accepting suffering as a natural part of life, we not only build resilience, but also create opportunities for deep personal growth. This shift in perspective can lead to a more profound sense of inner peace, as we learn to navigate life's inevitable hardships with grace and strength. Focus point 4. Managing anxiety and negative emotions. Techniques for emotional mastery. Anxiety and negative emotions are common challenges that affect millions of people globally. These emotional obstacles can prevent individuals from living a joyful and fulfilling life. often leading to stress, exhaustion, and diminished well-being. However, understanding how to manage these emotions effectively is crucial for maintaining mental health, improving personal relationships, and enhancing overall life satisfaction. By addressing the root causes of anxiety and learning strategies to regulate negative emotions, individuals can reclaim control over their emotional state and cultivate greater inner peace. Understanding the roots of anxiety and negative emotions. Anxiety is often described as a future-oriented emotion, characterized by excessive worry about potential threats or uncertainties. According to cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, anxiety stems from distorted thought patterns, where individuals overestimate the likelihood of negative outcomes or feel overwhelmed by situations they perceive as beyond their control. CBT posits that by identifying and challenging these thought distortions, individuals can reduce their anxiety and gain a more balanced perspective. Additionally, neuroscience research suggests that anxiety is linked to heightened activity in the amygdala, the brain's emotional processing center. When the amygdala perceives a threat, it triggers the body's fight or flight response, even in non-life-threatening situations, leading to heightened stress and worry. Over time, chronic anxiety can contribute to other negative emotions, such as frustration, irritability, and sadness. Take the case of Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in prison under the apartheid regime. During this time, he faced enormous emotional challenges, yet Mandela managed to maintain inner peace by focusing on the present moment rather than succumbing to anxiety about the future. In his autobiography, Long Walk to Freedom, Mandela wrote, "I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. This triumph was rooted in emotional self-regulation, a crucial skill for managing anxiety. Techniques for overcoming anxiety. Several scientifically backed techniques can help individuals manage anxiety effectively. Cognitive restructuring, a fundamental tool in CBT. Cognitive restructuring involves identifying negative thought patterns and reframing them in more balanced and realistic ways. For example, if someone feels anxious about failing an important project, cognitive restructuring might involve recognizing that one setback doesn't define their entire worth, and that failure can be a valuable learning experience. Breathing exercises. Slow, deep breathing techniques, such as diaphragmatic breathing or the 4-7-8 technique, activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which counteracts the body's stress response. Research has shown that these exercises reduce cortisol levels, the hormone associated with stress, and promote relaxation. Breathing practices are often used in mindfulness meditation to help individuals stay grounded in the present moment rather than becoming overwhelmed by anxious thoughts. Exposure therapy. This therapeutic approach involves gradually exposing individuals to the source of their anxiety in a controlled environment, helping them build tolerance and reduce their fear response over time. Studies have demonstrated that exposure therapy is effective in treating various anxiety disorders, such as social anxiety and phobias. By confronting rather than avoiding anxious triggers, individuals learn that their fears are often disproportionate to reality. Overcoming negative emotions. Beyond anxiety, managing other negative emotions such as anger, frustration, and sadness requires a similar level of emotional awareness and self-regulation. Emotions are often triggered by how we interpret and react to external events, rather than the events themselves. Learning to manage these reactions allows individuals to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. A powerful example of emotional mastery can be found in the life of Mahatma Gandhi, who, despite experiencing anger and frustration during India's struggle for independence, adhered to nonviolent resistance. Gandhi once remarked, "Nobody can hurt me without my permission." His words reflect the idea that while negative emotions are inevitable, we have the power to control how we respond to them. Emotional regulation techniques. Mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness involves observing one's thoughts and emotions without judgment, allowing individuals to gain insight into their emotional triggers. Research from Harvard Medical School has found that regular mindfulness practice increases the brain's ability to regulate emotions, reducing the intensity of negative feelings such as anger or sadness. Emotional labeling. Studies have shown that labeling emotions accurately can help diffuse their intensity. For instance, instead of saying, "I'm overwhelmed," stating, "I'm feeling frustrated because of a specific situation," helps distance the individual from the emotion and provides clarity on how to address it. This technique encourages individuals to acknowledge their emotions without becoming consumed by them. Gratitude practice. Research in positive psychology has consistently found that cultivating gratitude can reduce negative emotions and improve well-being. By focusing on what is going well in one's life, individuals can shift their attention away from negative experiences, fostering a more positive emotional outlook. Gratitude exercises, such as writing down 3 things one is thankful for each day, have been shown to lower stress and increase happiness. Thoughtful reflections on emotional mastery. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This timeless wisdom underscores the importance of emotional regulation. While we cannot always control external circumstances, we can control how we choose to respond. Developing the ability to manage anxiety and other negative emotions is essential for leading a fulfilling and joyful life. Recommendations for managing anxiety and negative emotions. To effectively manage anxiety and other emotional obstacles, individuals can incorporate the following practices. Develop emotional awareness. Begin by identifying and acknowledging your emotions as they arise. Rather than suppressing them, give yourself the space to understand what triggered them and how you can address the root cause. Challenge negative thoughts. Whenever anxious or negative thoughts emerge, take a moment to challenge their validity. Are these thoughts based on evidence, or are they distorted by fear? Reframe them in a more balanced and constructive manner. Practice breathing and relaxation techniques. Incorporate breathing exercises into your daily routine, especially when you feel anxiety or negative emotions escalating. These techniques will help activate your body's relaxation response. Engage in gratitude. Regularly reflect on the positive aspects of your life, no matter how small. Gratitude shifts focus away from what is lacking, cultivating a more optimistic and emotionally balanced mindset. Mastering anxiety and negative emotions is not about eliminating them, but about learning to navigate through them with greater clarity and resilience. Focus point 5. Transforming your mindset. Cultivating patience, tolerance, and a foundation for lasting happiness. A mindset is the lens through which we perceive the world, and it plays a vital role in shaping our emotions, behavior, and overall well-being. A growth-oriented mindset helps individuals overcome challenges, embrace change, and cultivate emotional resilience, while a fixed mindset limits their ability to adapt and grow. Transforming your mindset is essential for achieving lasting happiness, and this transformation can be achieved by adopting strategies that cultivate patience, tolerance, and open-mindedness. The power of mindset transformation. Mindset transformation starts with a conscious decision to change the way we think and react to life's circumstances. Renowned psychologist Carol Dweck's research on growth and fixed mindsets provides a compelling framework. A fixed mindset is characterized by the belief that one's abilities and intelligence are static, whereas a growth mindset reflects the understanding that with effort, learning, and perseverance, anyone can develop their talents and skills. Those who embrace a growth mindset are more likely to see failures as opportunities for growth, not as limitations of their abilities. This shift in perspective leads to higher levels of resilience and contentment. Take the story of Thomas Edison, who famously remarked, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Despite numerous setbacks, Edison's mindset allowed him to remain patient and focused on his goal. His innovation and perseverance eventually led to one of the most important inventions in human history, the electric light bulb. This story demonstrates that transforming one's mindset is key to long-term success and satisfaction. Strategies to shift your thinking. Shifting your thinking requires intentional strategies that reshape how you perceive challenges and opportunities in life. Here are actionable steps for achieving this shift. Reframe negative situations. Instead of viewing setbacks as failures, see them as learning experiences. When confronted with difficulties, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? This approach fosters a more optimistic outlook and prevents negative emotions from taking over. Cognitive reframing, a technique used in cognitive behavioral therapy, has been shown to significantly reduce stress and anxiety by helping individuals reinterpret challenging situations in a more constructive way. Cultivate patience. Patience is an essential element of a transformed mindset. It allows you to remain calm and composed in the face of adversity, leading to better decision-making and more thoughtful responses. Neuroscience research has shown that practicing mindfulness meditation, which involves focusing on the present moment, enhances the brain's capacity for patience. Over time, regular mindfulness practice improves emotional regulation and reduces impulsivity, helping individuals react more calmly to stressors. In one study, participants who engaged in an 8-week mindfulness program experienced a notable increase in their patience and tolerance for uncertainty, highlighting the importance of mindfulness in cultivating a positive mindset. Develop tolerance for ambiguity. Life is inherently unpredictable, and those with a transformed mindset learn to tolerate ambiguity rather than fear it. By embracing uncertainty and recognizing that not all outcomes are within our control, individuals can reduce anxiety and focus on what they can influence. Tolerance for ambiguity is a key trait of emotionally resilient individuals, as it allows them to navigate complex situations without becoming overwhelmed. Building a foundation for lasting happiness. The ability to transform one's mindset is directly linked to long-term happiness. Rather than relying on external circumstances for joy, individuals with a transformed mindset focus on cultivating internal qualities such as gratitude, patience, and acceptance. Research in positive psychology emphasizes that happiness is more strongly correlated with mindset and attitudes than with external achievements or possessions. One notable case study in this regard is the life of Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist who authored Man's Search for Meaning. Despite enduring unimaginable suffering, Frankl argued that people can find meaning and fulfillment by choosing how they respond to suffering. He wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." Frankl's insights suggest that happiness is not dependent on circumstances, but on the mindset we choose to adopt. Thoughtful reflections on mindset transformation. Lao Tzu, the ancient Chinese philosopher, once said, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." Mindset transformation, too, is a gradual process that requires daily commitment. However, with consistent effort, individuals can cultivate a mindset that enables them to weather life storms with greater resilience and find joy in the simple moments. Recommendations for transforming your mindset. To cultivate a transformed mindset, consider these practical steps. Practice cognitive reframing. When faced with difficulties, consciously choose to view them as learning opportunities rather than failures. This will help you maintain a more optimistic and growth-oriented perspective. Engage in mindfulness practices. Regular mindfulness meditation will help you develop patience and emotional resilience. Set aside a few minutes each day to focus on the present moment, reducing your susceptibility to stress and anxiety. Embrace uncertainty. Rather than fearing what you cannot control, focus on what you can influence. Accept that life is unpredictable and trust in your ability to adapt to changing circumstances. Set realistic expectations. Avoid placing unrealistic demands on yourself or others. Cultivate tolerance by accepting imperfections and understanding that growth takes time. In conclusion, transforming your mindset is an ongoing journey, one that requires patience, tolerance, and conscious effort. By adopting strategies that encourage personal growth and emotional resilience, individuals can build a foundation for lasting happiness and fulfillment. Through mindfulness, cognitive reframing, and an openness to uncertainty, you can shift your perspective and enjoy a richer, more meaningful life. Conclusion. In this audiobook, we explored 5 powerful focus points that contribute to a more fulfilling and joyful life. First, we examined the deep connection between happiness, self-awareness, and mindfulness, uncovering how these qualities lead to a sense of contentment. We then learned about the importance of nurturing compassion and empathy, and how these traits strengthen relationships and improve well-being. Embracing suffering as a natural part of life helps build resilience, while managing anxiety and negative emotions empowers us to live more freely. Finally, we discussed actionable strategies for transforming your mindset, cultivating patience, and developing tolerance for ambiguity, all of which create a foundation for lasting happiness. Practical recommendations. Mindfulness practice. Dedicate a few minutes each day to mindfulness meditation to develop patience and emotional resilience. Cognitive reframing. Learn to view setbacks as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles. Develop empathy. Practice putting yourself in others' shoes to enhance your emotional intelligence and relationships. Accept challenges. Embrace life's difficulties as a source of growth and personal strength. Transform your mindset. Focus on cultivating a growth-oriented mindset, allowing you to face life's uncertainties with confidence. The topics covered in this audiobook hold deep significance for anyone striving for personal growth, emotional balance, and a meaningful life. By understanding these concepts and putting them into practice, you'll not only improve your mental well-being, but also enrich your connections with others. Remember, the journey toward happiness begins with the decisions you make in your mind. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this audiobook. Your interest in self-improvement and well-being is commendable, and I hope the insights shared here have inspired positive changes in your life. If you found value in this audiobook, please like, subscribe, and share it with others who may benefit from these life-changing ideas. Remember, listening to audiobooks is a great way to improve your English language skills. As I always say, the more they listen, the better they speak. So keep listening, keep learning, and keep growing.